YouTube, what is going on? Theo Bean here, and today I am finally going over and doing my full review of P5X. So first of all, I did want to wait a while before I did a full-on review. I did do an initial preview or my initial thoughts of the game when it first came out. We are finally gone through an entire patch cycle, so we are essentially waiting for now. I have 163 hours according to Steam into the game. And that's probably pretty close. Granted, I will say I probably have a decent amount of AFK time in here, but we're definitely north of, say, like 150. So overall, we're going to be talking about my thoughts about the game, the good, the bad, what I rate it, what do I think, what the game does well, what does it suck at, and the outlook of the game going forward. So another reason I did want to wait until this point too was because the state of the game, the drama, and the outlook on its future has changed drastically since the game first came out. So when I did my initial release, there's been a lot to go on. Long story short, for those that aren't aware, I have made videos covering in the past, but everything looked like they were just going to copy and paste one for one that we got from the CNTW version. That was not the case. They were doing a sped up version to get us caught up to get global caught up to them. But they weren't going to be giving us the compensation, and they were taking stuff out of the game that was essentially in the game already. That being said, they have rolled a lot of those back. The only change that we have from this version, the global version, compared to them, I believe, is pretty much the fact that any sort of character that gets added into the standard banner that was limited, like for instance here, Yumi here, once your banner does expire, which will be at the end of, it's looking like to Sunday when they do maintenance, I believe, for 2.1, she will take 6 months before she gets added into the standard banner, as opposed to being added immediately after. So over the course of that, everything is leveled out, things have been compensated. We'll talk about that, but let's get into it. Of course, for now, we are going to start with the good. So for the good, first thing is first, let's talk about the story of the game. The story is very much Persona 5. This is what I said before as well in my initial thoughts. If you like Persona 5, you will 100% enjoy this game. It is essentially just more Persona 5, so if you love Persona 5, you will enjoy this. One of the things that I have thoroughly enjoyed about this game is that there is a ton of content to do. There is so much stuff, there's so much I still have not gotten to, or have kind of like working my way through or into before we like really get into it. And for instance, like for the thing I still need to really work on is my compendium in the Velvet Room. Getting my personas built and going through the pages here. You're gonna see there's a lot, and there's still a ton that I have not unlocked yet. So if we go to Persona Fusion, look at all these that are essentially not registered. I have hit almost 80, so we are pretty high up there. We are almost at our level cap for Wonder, who was our protagonist. Yeah, there's a lot I still have to go back and do. So I didn't even have Archangel somehow, which I actually don't know how. So I just now realized that, but you get the point. So I'm still have to work on building my personas, which is essentially helping work on Wonder. But I've been mainly focused on just building my character, getting their weapons and everything like that maxed out. And that's that. So getting the equivalent of their, coming back here, the revelation cards and sets. As you can see, Shun or Soy does not have his yet. These are very just placeholder for the time being. We're trying to work on slowly building up our characters, getting them better and better. So and that is just a constant ongoing process, right? So yeah. Another thing is the combat and the turn-based mechanics are very well done. They're well thought out. They pretty much follow the base of Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal, and then they add in some slight changes to different elements and some extra intricacies to essentially make it so that as you're going through, you have a little bit more stuff to build and kind of a little bit more, I'm just going to say, variety when it comes to the scale of the game, and considering the fact that this is a live service game, there's going to be more kits. They need to have more diversity than just having a character like in P5, which is of just each and every element. So I will say too that coming back to this being a live service game, this is a gacha game, but I will say for a gacha game, as things stand right now, pending any further changes, but I think we're fine now. This is a very free to play friendly gacha game. You can spend little to no money. I have spent little money, and I'm planning on spending pretty much just a little bit here and there as I go forward. As of late, here's your shop here. This is where you can spend actual real money, as you can see here. All I've been doing is getting, I even know where it's at actually, to be honest. Where is it? There's essentially a thing where you get resources sent to you every single day. It costs $5 to last for 30 days. Pretty much most gachas have the exact same equivalent. You get what is in this game the equivalent of like 20 pulls if you spend $5 over the course of 30 days. So that's that. $5 really ain't much, and I'm totally okay with spending that in a game that is free to play. Another thing is that this game is, with how it stands right now is actually a pretty decent time to get started. There is a good amount of story content. I'm actually not sure what we will be getting for the 2.1 content. I believe that live stream is set to go on early tomorrow morning. I will be covering that, making a video on that as well. So keep an eye out for that also, because we have a general idea what's to come. We know our 100% 110 pull guaranteed banner is coming. I thought that might be in 2.0 here. It's possibly either going to be 2.1 or 2.2 is my guess. With the live stream for 2.1, they will confirm those details though, if that will be arriving here soon. Now let's talk a little bit about the bad. So in order to get the most out of this game, you need to keep playing it, right? It is a gacha game. So what I mean by that is actually coming here is with any sort of live service game, there's going to be temporary events going on just like this. Oh, this ends in I thought this said 22 days. I was going to say where you get extra resources and things like that. You get free coffees, which is your energies, which you use to spend on these resources that recharge over time. As well as these types of events, things like that too. Wait, what have I not gotten? Oh, I think it's something we cannot get yet. But anyways, so as you can see, these are limited events. This is for the start of 2.0. I'm pretty sure this is going to last until we finish this, the main story of the 2.0 patch quests. And yeah, so as you can see, there's these. This has been here since day one. This was recently added. And then these do change over time with the characters that are available, the limited banners, and then doing these trials for resources. So if you stop playing, you can miss these events. So the more you do play, and if you are staying up to date on the game, you just have more resources to use. So if you are also not aware, I'm just going to cover this very briefly because most of you that are here probably are. Being a gacha game, you get these resources. These are what we use to pull or summon for characters. I'm not going to hit that. But you can do 1 or 10 pulls. I'm currently sitting on 20 plus the equivalent of over 200 pulls because it is 15,000 gems or 150 gems is a pull. 15,000 is considered 100. So I'm sitting at over 200 and close to 30 or 40 pulls right now. We are sitting very good as well, and I did make a video talking about how to best save these resources and what to do with those, how to plan ahead and what to consider and what you should or shouldn't get based off your account. That is assuming that you aren't just whaling and spending money here and there. So I will say also too is that content is time gated. That kind of comes to the events and things like that as well. More specifically in regards to that is coming back here with this event that we have going on. You do get these resources that we get from completing this. It says these are valid until this certain date, which is going to be the 22nd of October. And the reason this is important is because those resources give us essentially a free weapon for this character that is included in the game, Furiko. She's pretty much the main character of this part of the story. So I guess I have leftover knots. Or that's just how many I've claimed total. And I've completely gotten the weapon from that. If you don't play the game, you could completely miss out on free content, specifically not just resources as well. So that is also a pretty worthy point to make also. One thing with the gacha, and I will say this is not as much of a problem right now, but it will be in the future once we do get caught up to what is live with the CNTW version. As of right now, since we're trying to get sped up, these patch cycles are a lot shorter, which has kept the game really fresh, which has been a positive, and I have enjoyed that. But normally these patch cycles, and I'm not sure what it's going to be like, it is different for each game, can go anywhere from like 6 to 8 weeks. With that, there's going to be a little bit of content that's added in with the game each point here and there, blah 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 blah. But the most the most content we will get for the game is when the game first comes out, and that is 1.0 patch, the release of the game. As we get further patches, there's always more content that is added. For this game too, I will say some of the previous patches, I believe there was the content for it was essentially just temporary. So if you missed out on what I think was the 1.2 1.3 patches, that content I believe is just completely gone, which is, from my experience, not the case with other gachas, but it is the case here. I do not know, since I have been playing the game from the start, but for me to access that content, let me see here. If I come here, we have these events here that were essentially, okay, maybe these are not gone. This is essentially what we got, which is like a rendezvous with the original Phantom Thieves. We're getting to meet the different characters. And as these other characters get introduced, which I believe we're going to be getting here in 2.0, we are going to get Futaba and Haru. We will be getting the chapter 3 quest and that with it, and then I believe chapter 4, the final 2, is going to be Akechi and Kasumi, which is going to be the royal equivalent content. My guess, I don't know that for sure, but essentially over time, right, these things are temporary. Everything is time gated because being a gacha, these companies essentially are trying to capitalize on FOMO. It is what it is. It sucks. I don't like it. Once you kind of overcome that and you just pick up the game when you want and put it down when you want, you know, the game becomes way more enjoyable, because if you don't care about the game and getting stuff, then who cares? Like, it doesn't matter anyways at the end of the day. So just don't give in to the FOMO. I know that's easier said than done for some, but yeah. I will also say too, so depending on how your outlook and how you are as a gamer, some of the content can be a bit grindy. What I mean by that is, so let's come here. We have the Velvet Trials. This is kind of a decent example. We have these challenges that we can do based off the characters that we have. Some of these are a little bit challenging just based off the characters that are available in the game. For instance, this set here requires either a Bless or Electric DPS character. They get a free-to-play Electric DPS character, but she's just very meh. And we don't have a true Bless DPS character. That is not until this 2.1 patch that is coming out. So that will make this specific series a lot easier. If you are free to play, this is a little bit more challenging. If you are a whale, you can just kind of bulldoze your way through this. Based off of your performance, you do get these points. You redeem these points for free resources, and these are what you use to pull with, as well as resources for leveling up your characters. Another piece of content that is very grinding, kind of I had mentioned as well, it just takes a lot of time and resources, is this your compendium and leveling up your personas, which is how you essentially build wonder. I am still working on building some of these characters one at a time, Like for instance, let me do this here. So we have where he is. There he is. So we have Dionysus. He is an extremely strong support character. I'm trying to level him up. Where, show me his actual details. Here we go. As you can see, he is best. He's essentially a buffer for your team, where he increases your party's crit rate. So I'm still working on building up him and getting him to his max level, which requires resources in itself. And then there's also the fact that, like I showed, you also need all these resources just to get one of these characters, and then to essentially get them again to get these seals, which is what you use to max their passive abilities, which you will see at the top here. So 0 out of 3. And now me being level 78, these are some of the better ones in the game, and there's even more which will come out as the game progresses too. So that is also a nice feature, that we do have a ton of personas to choose from, and there is more added over time as well. But this can be quite grindy, so if you want stuff to do, this is great. But to think that you can just get this like as easily as you would as just going in one day in Persona 5 and just fusing a bunch of personas, it is not that simple. You have to get essentially use resources or time, which comes back to here. This is our energy resource, which if you've ever played any gacha is, you know, you should be very familiar with this. I have a ton of them. I'm just again focusing on building my characters, but this is essentially what happens. So there's a ton of shit to do. I've still been playing here or there. Lately I've been playing a ton of Borderlands 4, so I've not been playing as much. So that's pretty much the synopsis of like what's good and bad. Now I'm gonna go a little bit more into detail about what I think I've thoroughly enjoyed and what makes this game good, as well as what I think kind of holds this back. So I think the strongest parts is that the fact that, again, if you love Persona 5, you will love this. What they've done is actually kind of surprising. I thought it was just gonna be, when I started this, my expectations were so low. I did not know what to expect at all. I've been pleasantly surprised, and I will say especially more so with the current palace that we are going through with the release of 2.0 story. They're doing something that's completely different that has not been done in any other Persona game, and I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out as well. With that said, coming to the characters and coming to the story and the characters, I think one of this game's strongest suits is the actual characters themselves. So we have all these characters and their personas. I think they're, let's not look at the ones we already know, but can we zoom out? I want to zoom out. That's, well, that's anyways, like we can see a lot about these characters or builds. It gives you your stats. This is also a nice feature, but let's go. Who's a good example? So here's a great example here. We have Kamiyama, who is one of the free-to-play characters out of the game. He is a very good 4-star buff unit. He's like more so a superhero aesthetic, and his persona is incredibly sick looking. Like all of the personas, like these 4 stars, are actually really well designed, and I'm actually amazed at how good these characters look. I thought they were just going to be like meh, but like it's the case for like even all of them. It's like they cooked with these designs extremely well. I've been pleasantly surprised. I really don't think that there is like a bad design for any of these characters. This is again another free 4-star unit. Another free 4-star unit. Like these designs are so good, and from what I've seen on the future units and everything is coming out, they keep getting even better. Like it's incredible like how good it is. This is probably the worst one in the entire game. It's this steampunk cute little robot. This is unfortunately a 5-star character. She's one of the characters who's out upon release. But like, and then you have Yui here, who is like one of the first characters we got. Like this is so cool. Like, these characters look insanely good. Here's Marion as well. Like, it's crazy how good these characters are. It's definitely, that's actually, I would say, one of my favorite things about this game is just how good the characters look. Kind of going back to the gacha content, and the gacha is what really, I will say, defines this game. Is this game is free to play and pay to win. No matter what, you can play this game. It's very good in that regard. We have more stuff to claim already. Oh, okay, that was it. Well, we're gonna do this one for sure. What do we want? We want these resources. 16 hours. Cool. So that's what I do like, that there is not any content that I can't do in this game. I've spent a little bit of money, but again, not much. There's nothing that I've done in the game that if you were to spend zero money, you wouldn't be able to also accomplish. That being said, like, one of the examples I did bring up earlier was the Velvet Trial, so I'm gonna jump back to that. I have not put too much time into grinding these or trying to get my ranks up higher, which I definitely should. But even though I have not gotten that far in a lot of this content, that's not to say that I won't over time. As we keep getting different characters to do these different challenges, this will become way easier. So at a certain point, everyone will be able to complete all these challenges, especially once we hit our max level at 80. We can max everybody's character, their builds out, yada yada yada, and so forth. So that is something that I do appreciate. There is some different content that is essentially ranked, so actually I'm gonna come back here to the Trial of the Sea of Souls. These different challenges, which do rank you, and you do get ranking based off how you perform and how everybody else does, is a bit different, but you will never be able to compete with somebody who's just wailing for this game like at a ridiculous rate. That's just the state of any gacha. That being said, you can still do the content, you can still clear it, you'll still get rewards for it. Will you get the cool banner from getting first? No, but does it really matter? I mean, I honestly don't care. I don't think most people do. I'm sure the people that will probably love it, but hey, to each their own. If you have money to spend on this game, go ahead. At the end of the day, this is a gacha, and gacha is essentially the G word, which I'm not going to say because of the YouTube algorithm, and it's not going to like it. So when it comes to spending money on a game like this, spend money at your own peril, at your own risk. I do not recommend it. Spending money on a gacha game is, in my opinion, never worth it. Just spend anything that you are okay with losing at the end of the day, because at some point in life, this game will go into end of service after probably 5, 6, 7 years, and no one will play it, and it won't matter anymore. And you're never gonna think about how much money you spend here, so remember that. Okay, and yeah, so moving on. I did kind of briefly mention this as well, is that with this game, we are currently on a sped up pace of it to get from patch to patch. Each patch has been, especially for 1.0, has gone through to about the span of about 2 to 3 weeks each patch. That is very quick. Most patches for gacha games usually last somewhere between 6 to 8 weeks. This is usually what they go for. That being said, what that happens is sometimes you kind of clear all the content and then the game gets stale. So with everything being set up, it's kind of kept the game pretty fresh, and that has been actually a really nice change. As soon as they complete all the content, like right now here, like as you can see, I've pretty much completed everything I can. The only thing I can't do is continue through to the lower levels of the palace, and it said you need to unlock part 3 of the main story, which obviously we can't do yet because it's not out. So it is nice, I will say though, but at the same time, on the opposite side of that, when we do get caught up, the game will tend to get a little bit stale at times, because like I said, you'll do everything, then at that point you're probably going to want to put the game down, go play something else, do something else, and then come back to it when that new patch does drop. And that's totally normal behavior for a gacha, right? At the end of the day, like I said, with the FOMO, they want you to just keep coming back to play. Ideally, that when you come back, they want you to spend money. That's how they make a profit. But anyways, yeah, you get the point. That's pretty much it. I've pretty much touched on everything. I think those are like the strongest parts of it. One thing I will add too is that I think the outlook and how the game is scaling is pretty well done. One thing that's nice is with this global version of the game, with the units that they are releasing, they are actually receiving buffs, which is if you're used to any sort of online game, normally characters that are too strong normally get nerfed. They've been even buffing units that are already strong and buffing the units that were considered weak. So it's been a really nice change that when you get a new character that you roll for, that you get, that you wanted, and then they even feel like you feel the power level increase with how good they are. It is really, really nice. It's a great feeling. Like, for instance, I really got that feeling with Makoto when I pulled for her. Or Queen, who you're aware with. My strongest character before she came out was Joker. Joker would hit pretty hard, somewhere from like 5 to 8k for hits. Then I got Makoto, who I've hit single target enemies or bosses for over 100k. And seeing big numbers like that when we're still pretty early on in the game is pretty insane. And the crazy thing is, like, she's not whaled. I don't have her weapon. She is just rank 1. I don't have any of her... Where is it? What shows her stuff? I don't know what that does. Hold on, give me a second here. Nope, not that either. There's this thing too, which gives some more on the different personas. It's also pretty neat. But I think it is actually somewhere here. So this is her constellations or her awareness levels. She's at 0. I have her 4-star weapon, which only has one thing into it too, which is also pretty nuts. So, and she's dealing insane amounts of damage. And my team, like I said, my other characters aren't even built. So once I continue to fully build her out and them, she's going to do even bigger numbers. That's a really good feeling with a game like this, is when you feel like you're investing into something, you're getting rewarded for it. And I will say, with each character I've gotten, it feels like they have added something new and they've all been strong in their each own different way. Let's get into some of the things that kind of hold the game back. I will say, when it comes to the story, right, it is, like I said, it's Persona 5. It's very much like that. I have enjoyed it. I don't know if the story is going to be as deep as Persona 5. That's not even to say that the Persona 5 story is deep. But a lot of the I don't know if it's a localization thing, but the language, everything is just very on the surface. Like, I mean, you probably had this happen too with Persona 5, where you could predict what was going to happen. You can definitely predict what's going to happen when you're playing through this game. Like I said, there is some stuff with this current palace which is different from anything that was in the original game. So I am still kind of curious to see how that plays out. But that being said, again, that's how it seems. I'm not gonna, you know, count my chickens before they hatch. Nobody knows what the finale of this game is because nobody's there yet. This is a live service. We've still got a few years till we get there. That being said, it is pretty, you know, on the standard stuff. So don't expect some super deep character level stuff. The awakenings and things like that don't hit the same like they might have done in Persona 5 or Metaphor and things like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's still fine. Kind of coming back to, again, the gacha factor. If you want to experience everything in this game, you do have to spend money. So coming back here to the gacha stuff, or actually better yet, let's go here. Going to the thieves, you can see all the characters that are essentially in the game. You're gonna see there are 4 characters here that I do not have. These are all limited characters. After 6 months, Marion and Yumi will be added to the standard banner. I believe this is going to be in December, in either February or March at this rate. So I won't have them for quite some time. Yui I'm never going to get because he's not the strongest unit, and there's just better electro units coming out later in the future. And when her reroll banner comes out, there's going to be other characters I want more. Same thing with Fox, or Yusuke, where if you are free to play, you do have to pick and choose what to do and how you kind of plan out your future and who you pull for. If you spend money, if you're whaling, you can just buy a shit ton of gems and just roll on each character till you get what you want. If you want to then also, coming back here, if you want to max these characters, you really have to spend money, like hundreds of dollars, which I think is, I'll be honest, to this day, ever since I've started playing my first gacha, which was probably something before Genshin, but Genshin was the first one I ever got invested in. I think spending hundreds of dollars for a character that will eventually become not as good, this is the biggest waste of money ever. Some of these 4-star characters, you will eventually max some of them out, but then it comes to their 5-star weapons and things like that too. Maxing those, getting those, and then even maxing those out, also, like, you just gotta spend, we're talking hundreds if not thousands of dollars to fully max everything. I just, again, to each their own. I would not recommend that to anybody, and again, you do not need to do that in order to enjoy this game. But if you want to experience everything and be as broken as possible, play the game on easy mode, you gotta spend a lot of money. One thing I will say too, alongside the story not being the strongest, this game does have its confidants in it. There is a lot, and as the game progresses, we're gonna get more and more and more and more. We have Lefel here, who is our story locked progression confidant. Much like Morgana, we have an owl instead of a cat, but he ranks up as you progress. These other characters pretty much function just like they would if, you know, a Persona game. You spend time with them and you can see their rank increase based off giving them gifts, spending time with them, and then they do give you perks and stuff like that as well. I will say, for all the confidants I have done, the stories and the complexities of them are very weak. None of them are that compelling. They are extremely on the surface, even way more so than the story itself, I would say. So if you were looking for that, I would not get your hopes up. The confidants in the mainline Persona games are much stronger in games like 4, 3, and 5 compared to this. So that is my general view of everything. So I know that was a lot of talking. Let's condense it down. This is a good game at the end of the day. I wouldn't be spending as much time playing it if I wasn't enjoying it. That's a fact. If I'm not enjoying the game, I stop playing it. And since I've invested over 150 hours into this, there's a reason I've kept coming back, doing my dailies and continuing to progress, because I do like where this game is going. And my biggest problems that I had with the game was the gacha and kind of some of the greedy changes that Sega was making with this Western version of the global release. A lot of those have pretty much been fixed and accommodated for, so I think the future of this game is looking much brighter than it originally was. I think, again, if you like Persona 5, if you like the combat, the story, the whole mechanics of the Personas, the awakenings, going into palaces, people's cognitions, all that stuff, you're gonna be right at home with this. It's well done. It just is, like I said, if Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal are a cake, we're just adding more toppings and icing onto it with this game. That's what I would say is the best way to look at it as. At the end of the day, all the weaknesses from this game are essentially based around the whole gacha system. There's things you won't experience, there's things that require money, there's things that are time gated, You do have to, it will be eventually hurry up and wait. We will get there, but that is, again, just, you know, it's just what we get with this game, right? We wouldn't have this game if it weren't part of it. And I think otherwise we would just say, if you don't want that and you want Persona, your best bet is either go replay 5, go play 4, go play 3 Reloaded, or just like everybody else, we can continue to wait for 6. But I think we're getting P4, not G, but P4R probably before we're getting P6. So that's that. So overall, I would say this game is a solid 8. This game had a couple problems. They've continued to make fixes, which is what you want in a live service game. It's a solid Persona game with a lot of stuff to do. If you want something here and there to pick up and play, it's going to be a perfect game. If you even wanted to just like no life it and just really delve into it and get as far as you can, you could. I'd say you could probably go through, assuming you're actually reading and going through all the story and all the text, like you would normally a Persona game, you could probably get 40 hours of content out of it just going through and playing. If you're skipping all the cutscenes and stuff like that, you're probably gonna get somewhere closer to like 15 to 20 hours worth of content from what is available right now through the game's released at 2.0. I would recommend this game. I'm going to continue to play. I'm going to continue to make content for it because I do enjoy it. I do enjoy some of the changes this game has compared to, and don't mind me just being absolutely like autistic, running around talking to the same people, going in a gigantic line back and forth in Shibuya here. But you know, I do like some of the changes that this game has compared to other gachas and how the Persona universe kind of fits in. It's I think it's well done. I was skeptical and I really wanted to see how they made it all fit, and I think they did a good job with it all. So that's going to be that, guys. I know it's a lot of yapping. I will put some timestamps down below. If you sat through here and listened to all this rambling, thank you. I did want to say a quick shout out and thank you to everybody that did support the last video. That video did extremely well, and I am extremely grateful for that. We are on pace to hit almost 100 likes on a video, which is the first time I've ever had that happen. And we're slowly approaching 300 subscribers, so thank you, thank you, thank you. With this release, I will also be releasing a video for 2.1 live stream, reacting to that. Since we kind of know also what to expect with that too, since we've gotten a couple live stream videos now for these patch releases. That is going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel. It greatly helps me out. More content for P5X on the way. I will be going live tonight around 6 p.m. Pacific, playing Borderlands 4 on my YouTube channel here. Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I've been absolutely loving Persona. I've been loving Borderlands 4. It's been great. So stay tuned for that. With that, guys, that's going to be it. Until next time, peace and deuces. See ya. Bye-bye.